Hello! Hello, people.
Hello.
Hello. It's a pleasure to be here. Hello.
We're very proud.
We are very honored to be here today. So, as you probably know, by either the title of this video or the nominee video we posted earlier, this is the Vampiric review show. So this is the show that hopefully we'll be doing annually, if possible, where me and Michael have voted on what our favorite movies and other Oscar-type categories, like such as Best Picture, Best Actress, stuff like that. We vote on it, and then we inform you guys on what we find to be the film that deserves the most honor.
Basically, we'll tell you which one's the best.
What?
Nothing.
Okay. So, anything you'd like to add to that?
No.
Okay, so I guess we'll just move on to our first category, which is Best Visual Effects.
That hurts. Best visual effects.
So the nominees for Best Visual Effects were Tron Legacy, Inception, and Iron Man 2. The winner of the Vampiric Review Award for Best Visual Effects is none other than Inception. So, I personally, obviously we voted, and that's what we found to have the best visual effects.
Yeah.
Obviously. So, the reason we didn't pick Tron Legacy, which was all about the visuals, was because despite the fact it was all about the visuals, and the visuals were quite excellent, they still weren't as exquisite in realism as the Inception visual effects.
I found Inception very realistic and lifelike in appearance.
You sound like an 80-year-old man.
Shut up.
It's got the bald spot, too.
Yeah.
Yep. So. Yes.
Bald spot.
Bald spot. Now, is there anything you'd like to add to that?
Yes.
Okay.
Tron Legacy was very amazing, but, it just seemed a little too cartoonish in some ways.
Yeah. Well, it kind of had to be that way because that's the type of movie it is.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can't make a movie and not have it be kind of cartoonish when you're making a movie like Tron Legacy.
Mm. And Iron Man 2 just didn't stand up to Inception or Tron Legacies.
Yeah, it was very good, but it did not stand up to Inception or Tron Legacy, which were both very well done. However, Inception wins the award for Best Visual Effects. Let's hear it for Inception. Okay, so moving on to the next category. The award for Best Screenplay. The nominees for Best Screenplay are Aaron Sorkin for The Social Network, and J.K. Rowling for
Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows.
Steve Kloves and J.K. Rowling for Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 1. And thirdly, for Best Screenplay is Christopher Nolan for
Inception.
So, without further ado, the winner of the Vampiric Award for Best Screenplay is none other than Aaron Sorkin for The Social Network. Let's hear it for Aaron Sorkin for The Social Network. It's broken! I was hitting the wrong button. Yeah!
Yes, once again, realism played deeply into this winning thingy.
Yes. The main thing with Social Network was it's such, like, a simple movie if you think about it. And there's so much dialogue involved, and had dialogue that in the film been weaker than it was, which was absolutely phenomenal. But if it had been any weaker, the film would have just completely failed at what it was trying to excel at.
It was very amazing in its dramatic.
It was, yes, it was very dramatic. It was just simply written very well.
It made a website dramatic. It made a website make me cry.
Exactly. And Inception was also written very well. And Harry Potter, quite possibly my favorite film of the last year, was also written very well. However, it didn't take something so simple and something that could have turned out horribly and make it absolutely phenomenal. So let's hear it again for Aaron Sorkin for The Social Network.
Of course, a lot of people out there will probably be thinking that Harry Potter and Deathly Hallows Part 1 should have won this.
Well, it was very close.
They're very close.
It was very close.
We had a lot of debate on this.
And I would think that most people would actually believe Inception to have a better chance at winning than Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows, although both were quite excellent. However, they just didn't accomplish what Aaron Sorkin accomplished when writing The Social Network.
He just achieved the impossible.
Not the impossible, the improbable.
Be quiet.
Okay, are you ready to move on to the next category?
Yes.
Okay, the third category for the Vampiric Awards is Best Director. The nominees are Christopher Nolan for Inception,
Edgar Wright for Scott Pilgrim versus
The World, and Christopher Nolan for Inception.
I was about to say that.
The winner of the Vampiric Award for Best Director is Christopher Nolan for Inception. So, once again, Christopher Nolan was nominated, and this one he actually won because he just amazingly directed this movie, and he amazingly directs every movie he's done.
Christopher Nolan has a certain talent.
That's unquestionable.
Never mind. You don't know what I'm talking about.
Oh, God. I don't know if I want to.
Alright, but personally I was rooting for Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, but I do applaud Inception. Inception was amazing.
And Scott Pilgrim vs. the World was very well directed. It was very...
But Inception just had,
Inception...
It just topped it off.
Yeah, it was just... Christopher Nolan did such an excellent job. He always does his best to make a great movie. You can see that from Batman Begins, Dark Knight, Inception.
Just to put it bluntly, it was a better movie.
I wouldn't say it was a better movie. I'd say I like them equally. But although they're quite different films, I would say I enjoyed them equally. However, director-wise, I would say Christopher Nolan is most definitely the better director overall and for the movie in particular. So that is why he in the end won.
And, Harry Potter.
Harry Potter. David Yates for Harry Potter?
Yes, again, some of you Harry Potter fans out there might be a little distressed about this. But it is of no concern, because we made our decision.
Yes. Well, I loved the new Harry Potter movie, although some didn't like it because they thought it was just like, oh man, that movie was boring, it just led up to the new one. But I really enjoyed it, and it is my favorite Harry Potter movie, and quite possibly, I'm gonna say this at the risk of being completely heckled by everybody, my favorite movie of all time.
Harry Potter.
Harry Potter.
The saga created by some homeless lady.
Exactly. So, anything else you'd like to add to that?
No.
No? Okay, so I guess we'll move on to Best Actress. The nominees for Best Actress are
Mary Elizabeth Winstead
for Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
She was Ramona Flowers.
Yes, for those of you who do not know. Chloe Moretz for Kick-Ass, who played the part of Hit Girl.
The Vigilante.
Yes, the Vigilante. And Ellen Page for Inception. Now, without further ado, the winner for Best Actress for the Vampiric Award is Mary Elizabeth Winstead for Scott Pilgrim vs. the World.
Her performance swept me away in many ways, like with my mind and all that. Yes.
Yes. She just did a great job, and I haven't seen, like, we would have put more serious actresses in there, but we personally haven't seen movies such as True Grit or Black Swan, which I've heard are excellent films, but we just haven't seen them, so we couldn't include those. So actresses that might have, I personally can't say it, but actresses that might have been included, such as Haley Steinfeld or Natalie Portman, weren't in here because we simply hadn't seen the movie.
We're sorry we couldn't fit a more serious role for the Best Actress.
Yeah, so we apologize for that, but Mary Elizabeth Winstead nonetheless did an excellent job as Ramona Flowers in Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
So the only woman I know who can play as a hipster for that long.
Okay. Anything else you'd like to add to that?
No.
No? Okay. So, we shall move to Best Actor, and then preceding that, we shall have our final award, sadly, for Best Picture. Okay.
Anyway.
Okay. Back to the show. The nominees for Best Actor were Tom Hardy for Inception,
Ryan Reynolds in Buried,
and Andrew Garfield for The Social Network. The winner of the Vampiric Award for Best Actor is none other than Ryan Reynolds for Buried.
Superb.
Yes, and it was a very superb performance. Yes, it was an excellent performance. I was very impressed by how well he did. He was the whole movie. He was in that coffin, and you really felt for him, and like you wanted him to get out of there. And
sadly,
well, don't say anything because you don't want to spoil it for those who haven't seen.
Sadly, he.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, he just did a great job with the acting in that he didn't have much to work with. It was just him the whole movie.
Most of the movie in a coffin.
The entire movie in a coffin.
The entire movie? Whatever. The entire movie in a coffin. And he still captured our hearts. Yes.
I mean, you really felt for the guy, and you wanted him to get out of the coffin. And that's what's important in a movie. You need to care about the main character, you know? So, excellent work, Ryan Reynolds. Anything you'd like to add to that?
Andrew Garfield had a superb effect in The Social Network as well.
Most certainly.
But Brian Reynolds won by a landslide with his... there were many features, but one of the main things was that he did the entire movie in a coffin. And yet he still had charisma and it was just amazing.
Yeah, it was very good. Although Andrew Garfield, of course, was excellent. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been nominated. And Tom Hardy did a great job with Inception. Of course,